What's up, guys? Nick South here, back again. I just leave my house right now. I'm headed down to visit an old friend, my friend Carla. She's she's been like a sister to me since, I don't know, probably like half my life, maybe. Probably like I've known her since elementary school. I'm 20, but we've been super close since, like, I don't know, 7th grade, I would say, like 12 years old. And she's been a very great friend to me. She helped me out a lot living down there and stuff. We've been through some crazy stuff, and been through either, like, one of us been through a crazy time, and another one, and the other one have like helped each other out during those times and stuff. She's a great friend, and I love her to death. So she just told me recently that I hadn't spoke to her. We haven't spoken much in like the last 4 to 6 months. Just a bunch of just life and the way and stuff. But I had a hard time kind of like reaching her. I talked to her a little bit once in a while, but I just finally started talking a lot again like the last weekish. And I'm going down to visit her right now. Before I do, though, I'm gonna go down and visit because we're meeting up at 6 and it's only 3, and I'm going down and meeting up with my bro Jake. He's my closest friend. So she's like my closest friend that's a girl, besides my girlfriend, in case she sees this. And he's been like my brother since, I don't even know, hung out all the time, like every day since 2nd grade, since we were 8 years old. So this dude's been like family. My family all know him, and their family, his family knows me, and like, he been to my MMA tournaments. I've been to his basketball tournaments, like, all the time. Used to do that stuff, like, so that's my boy since day one. And so I'm gonna go hang out with him, and I think this girl will be there too, Litzia. She's cool. So it's just it's awesome. I think a big thing is my friends, like Carla and like me, we'd have times where one of us was going through some struggles. She was going through some struggles too, but she's one of the sweetest hearted people I've ever known. And like I said, like, I love her like a sister, so I'm always there for her. So just gotta remember, man, like, there's people who gotta go through trials, and people that go through crazy stuff in their lives, and especially if like they're like your day, like, people say they're day ones and stuff, but like if they're like your real, like, you don't even have to be day one or whatever. You don't have to know somebody for years and years and years to be super close with them. Like, I had a homie named Ben, and he was one of my closest friends. Him and Jake were my 2 closest friends before I moved out to Gilbert and Mesa. It starts switching around here. Him and Jake were my closest friends for forever. I also known him since I was young. Me and him started hanging out even more than I could hang out with Jake, because Jake wasn't available a lot of weekends and stuff when we were younger, because he would stay at his dad's or something like that. And my friend Ben, so me and my friend Ben hung out all the time. Me and Jake used to hang out a lot, obviously, too. And then me and Jake moved next to each other, so we were hanging out more and stuff. But yeah, like, sorry, this car just cut me off. Yeah, vlogging and driving, that's smart, right? But I'm trying to keep my eyes on the road. But yeah, but like I was saying, he was one of my closest friends. We spent a lot of time together. We always hung out. We've been through some crazy stuff together. And that dude, like we've had each other when it came down to, like, getting like some fights and stuff, kind of like, we had to back each other up. But that dude, one of my closest friends. I moved down here. I saw him, a little bit at first, and then when I started school down here. We didn't talk for a while, and then I was looking at some messages on Facebook, and the last time I talked to him was like around 13, 14, right after I tore my shoulder in a wrestling tournament. Like, we were talking about, he asked me how I did and stuff. Like, we were barely conversing back then. And he would flake a lot on times to chill, like, especially down here. And I understand, I feel bad, like, a lot. I had to move from, all the closest people in my lives, and the people who were family to me when I didn't really have family at the time. And it was just like, it would suck, but sometimes you just got to get away from there's a lot of crazy stuff going on out there. There's not hanging out. Besides my friend Jake and Ben, like even my friend Ben wasn't doing good. You know, drop out and doing stupid stuff, and you know, and you just gotta get away from all the bad stuff. With a lot of friends are on meth and just doing all kinds of stuff. And a couple people I know down there, like even some of them were very close friends, but like kids that I was around a lot because of close friends. Like, you know, I hear dying and stuff. A couple of them died. I think one was like overdose, and it's just sad, man. It's very sad. But you know, man, if that person's still, even a person going through struggles, and you know, even if they are doing some stuff, like you don't necessarily want to be around, which you should always try to kind of get yourself away from all that negativity. But if you got somebody who's been there for you, you know, through your struggles, your hard times, you gotta do the same for them, as long as they're still got, like, you know, your interest at heart. Like, they gotta have their interest at heart as well. But as long as they still treat you as a, you know, treat you well, like as a good person, then you should never, I don't think you should ever let that person down, like, you know, leave that person, like there's a difference between, like, I have my closest uncle, my Uncle William, man. I'll post a picture, I'll try to get a picture in here. He was, you'll see, never mind, doesn't matter, you'll see the picture, but, he's my closest uncle. I've known him since I was like 8 years old. I met him in prison. He did he'd done multiple years before, back and forth, whatever, but he just did, he had 16, then he got out in 14 and a half. He moved in with us for a while, and he was out for about 4 years, and I met him when I was 8. He got out when I was a freshman, so I was like 15, 14, and he was my close uncle. I rode him in prison. I talked to him, visited him all the time, like. And then when he moved out, and then when he came out, I was excited. I came home early or something from school, and I was waiting for him to come to the door. And the first thing we started doing was wrestling and like trying to box a little bit. My close uncle, man, he's one of the wisest, greatest, most caring people I've ever met in my life, and I still love him. And he got recently back into trouble after 4 years, and I'm talking a very good man who wouldn't even do anything very unrighteous or anything, and it was very close, very, like, you know, God loving, God fearing, whatever you want to say, man. He wouldn't even cuss or nothing, you know. You hang out with the wrong people, you start going down like a slope, man. And then now he's looking at 12 years, going to his hearing. I'll do a vlog that day. I'm going to, not his hearing, his sentencing. He's getting sentenced to 12 years, but we're gonna go down there. My friend Jake actually knew him very well as well. Like, he was like an uncle to us, you know. I mean, mainly me. Because my dad was like, no, my dad known him since they were like 10 years old. My dad's 46, so you know, they were very close. They're like brothers, so he became like my uncle. And then, you know, it's just, I spent a lot of time with them, and we spent a lot of time together, even just like by ourselves or with family. And that dude, and he was there a lot for me, like one of them, like almost more than anybody. Like, besides like my friend Jake, has been there a lot for me as well, especially when my mom left. I'll get more into all that stuff another time, but like my mom, like all this crazy stuff was happening, all these just like these insane situations and events, and then he was there and made sure we were always good. And now he's going back because he got back on meth. He dropped very quickly. He started about like a year and a half ago. He started doing stupid stuff, and then next thing you know, within a year, he'd gotten arrested a few times, and now and it's not even like he's not even going in for anything bad right now. They're looking at it because of his priors, but yeah, it's not my information to tell. But yeah, like it sucks, man. But I still always had to be there for him. You know, my dad kind of fell back. Like, I couldn't hang out with him. The day he got arrested, I was supposed to go see him that day. I planned on it. I called him, and I said, hey, man, I want to come over. Like, we talked about it. He kept asking me to come over. Like, we never talked about his, like, addiction or nothing. Yeah, even though he probably knew I knew. But you just got to kind of distance yourself away from a bad situation. You can lead or what is it called? You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. So you can't choose somebody's choices for them, make somebody change. You know, you can only lead them. You can't make them come, but you can't make them come with you. You can only lead them. So, you know, it's sad. So, you know, I mean, I've been talking. He's doing a lot better now. He got clean while he's been in jail like 7 months, and he's doing a lot better. And he, you know, he's very sorry for what he's done, but he's a man. He takes full responsibility, stuff like that. So hopefully, when we go down to the sentencing, the judge can give him actually whatever he wants. So I'm gonna, you know, hope and pray that he don't get 12. You know, because if he gets 12 and he's in there for only 10, good behavior, that means that man, that's 25 years in his last 2 sentences he spent in prison, on top of the years prior to that, on and off. He's probably spent 30 years in prison by the time he gets out, and when he gets out, he'll be like 56-ish. And he'd already spent over 30, way more than that. He started going to jail in like 16 years old. You know, but it sucks because people do crazy stuff, like, but you can't judge, man, because he's one of the greatest people I've ever met in my life, and I credit a lot of the man I've become out to is because of him, and I think he taught me as well. He's a great teacher, and he's a great mentor. He's probably one of my first mentors I've ever really had. And it really took me just now to kind of realize he was like a mentor to me, not just like a uncle, but a real mentor. It's one of the only mentors I really had around, to see somebody change their life like that. You know what I mean? And it was just crazy. And, you know, I love him to death, and I'll still be there to support him through this time. And when he gets out, you know, I plan on helping him get back on his feet, because, you know, he would do the same for me, and I don't have a doubt in my mind he would. But, so yeah, but, you know, man, like, so, but when I went over to see him one time, you know, I heard he's been into that stuff for a while, and I wanted to go see him. You know, I can tell when somebody is like high, and like, and I don't mean high like on weed, I mean high like on meth. They act a lot different. They're like, they act like they're getting so much stuff done, and like they think they are, and they're very hyper kinda a lot of the time, and they're just moving a lot, and they're very like hard to focus. Like it's hard for them to focus. So you can really tell. Like my mom was on it, and she acted the same way. But then some dude came over when I was over, and I was like, I am not chilling with no meth heads, bro. I just got out of that like 3 years before this happened. When I saw him, and I was like, I don't know, 3-4 years. And I was like, dude, I ain't about to do this. Just to be sure, I didn't want to judge this guy. This guy looked like a tweaker. I don't want to judge him. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna give them benefit of the doubt. So I did this. I looked at his arm. That's how you can tell. Look for the track marks. And I saw a bunch of track marks on his arm. I said, nope, fuck that, I'm out. I was like, I'm sorry, man. And I was like, I gotta go. He's all like, oh, rain check, little homie, and blah, blah. And I was like, I love him. Nice. I miss him. You know, he regrets he knows what he did, and he regrets it. And I wish we could have done more to help, but, you know, you can only lead. You can't force change. You can only lead somebody to better choices. But, so, like... So here's the thing. My mom left because of meth and other drugs, a lot of other drugs, and all kinds of crazy stuff. So like I said, I won't get into it, but let's say this. Let's share this. So I haven't talked to my mom in years, and I stay away from her. I maybe get a text from her once in a very great while, man, like 6 months, a year, whatever, just depends. So so when that happens, we'll put the difference into like people who are on drugs and stuff. And who you should really follow. So my mom, you know, she wasn't the greatest mom growing up, you know, like I said, you know, I'll tell you later, but, you know, a lot of bad stuff. She put me into a lot of bad stuff growing up, and she gave me a lot of very bad stuff, and, like, she gave me, like, types of drugs when I was, like, very young years old, started giving me pain medications and stuff like that when I was, like, 12, and for no reason, just so I could, she's like, here, go to sleep or something like that, so... You know, I'll get into it, but I was a small kid too, so don't let that, you know, it's just dumb stuff. But so I had to make the conscious choice to I cannot be around her, and she does not have my best interest at heart, because before she left, she was stealing money, she was beating the shit out of me. She stole all my dad. She was stealing all my dad's money. She put us into massive debt. She never told anybody for the 4 months before she left. She didn't pay no bills. She was using all the money for dumb stuff. She was on constant drugs. And the day she left, and the week she left, my dad said he had the weirdest feeling to call the fucking companies, because my dad paid only the rent, and he would just let her pay the other bills, like even whether he gave her the money or whatever. Found out that she had not paid any bill in like 4 or 5 months. And we only lived there for 4 or 5 months. Like, it was crazy. It was the first, and we ended up only living there for like a year. So my dad calls, gas and water and electricity and all this stuff. And all those people were like, you are lucky. We were cutting one was like, we were cutting your lights off tomorrow. We were cutting your water off Monday or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And it was just like, she did not have the best interest at heart. She made death threats to us. She started texting me a lot saying I'm going to go to hell for not talking to her, and just a lot of very, very, very crazy stuff. We dealt a lot with it for a while. And she had and every time, and then I tried to meet up with her. I met up with her twice within like 2 years that she left. And besides like the first few months that she was constantly coming over, but from when we moved, because we moved like 8 months later from when that happened or so. And then when we moved, I only saw her like twice in 2 years. Every time I saw her, she did nothing but fuck with my head, and the first thing she did was bring this crazy amount of negativity towards me about just randomly bashing down my dad, bashing down my family, bashing down, everything, and just trying. She's like the world. She's not very smart, but she is the world's greatest manipulator. And being around her is the presence of and I hate saying it, man, just being around it felt like the presence of evil. Like the worst presence I've ever felt, gave me the worst anxiety I've ever felt in my life. And it happened in the last 2 times I saw her. And I used to get a lot of anxiety around my mom, but just because of crazy stuff. But sorry guys, my eyes are really dry. But yeah, so when that happened, and I already knew I couldn't be around her because she was always high, and she was just constant negativity that brought nothing to my life but made it worse. And at that point, you're just like, you gotta let it go. She did not have the best interest at heart for me or for herself. She just thought she just was like very selfish on what she thought she needed. She asked me, she tried asking me for my car, but I know she'd steal it because we only had 2 cars at the time, very old cars, when she left, and she stole, one of them was a truck, like an 01 Toyota, and she stole it. And then I kept my dog because I paid for the beagle we had that I told you she stole. And after months of crying and begging, she's like, let me have her for a weekend. I let her have her for a weekend because my dad made me. My dad, I'm only like 15, 16. My dad's like, just let her have the dog for the weekend so she'll stop bitching and coming around so much, or like not coming around, but like, just bugging and whatever. So let her have it. I call her later that week. I'm like, hey, when do you bring my dog back? I called her. She wouldn't answer my calls, and finally, like a week or 2 later, she finally answered. I was like, where the hell is my dog? You didn't bring her back. I was like freaking out like that. But I was like, you need to get my dog back. And she's just like, Nick, she's not coming back. She's my dog. You have your dad and you have each other. First off, my dad wasn't even in town. I never saw him. And this is right after my mom left, I wasn't seeing him. I'm like, what you mean? I'm by myself. And you're gonna say that, what? I bought that thing. Give me it. Like, I love that dog. It was my first dog I ever owned. Besides when I lived with my nana and my papa when I was up until I was like 5 or 6. So it's just like, what the fuck? So yeah, man. So she kept trying. Oh, and I found out when I moved down to Gilbert, she put her name on my cricket phone books. I had cricket at the time, and I didn't know how she did it. She did something, and then I ended up paying for her bill or something like that. I'm like, why the fuck is my bill so expensive? And I was freaking out because we just moved, so I didn't have a job, and I was a bag boy. I didn't have I worked my butt off to save $600-ish before we left. And so yeah, I find out that she tried to get me to pay her phone bill. I said, cut that shit. She calls me on some crackhead's phone an hour-ish later, if that, and freaking out. Like, you know, when you're high, you're just going crazy. Why'd you got my phone? I was like, yeah, oh, the phone bill you trying to make? I was like, the phone bill you trying to get me to pay? You ain't tell me about? I was like, yeah, that's what I thought. I was like, I ain't paying your shit. I gave my mom money all the time when she was living with us. Like, it was ridiculous. And my dad paid for the little money my dad was kind of making up. Like, my dad paid for everything, and she would ask me for money. And she had a job at Marshall's. She ended up getting fired right after she left because she was stupid. She either brought guns or drugs to work. I don't remember. So, I think it was a gun. But yeah. So, but Carla, you know, I was saying, like, Carla going through struggles or whatever happened with her, or any friend, like, it just depended. Like, Ben, how I don't talk to him. I haven't talked to him in probably 2 years now, and I still message him to this day. I messaged him like a couple days ago. Still ask him how he's doing, but he don't write back. I don't know if he has Facebook anymore. And Carla, like, you know, even though she didn't talk to me, like, whatever she was going through, I mean, and that's like one thing for hanging out. Like, I want to be there for her, and you know, I still hit her up. I still text her like once a month, once every 2 months, because you got to know the people who are there for you. You got to like make sure they're okay, like, because sometimes that's the person you're meant to be, man. I think I was born to help lead my father. I had to lead him back into the church, into, you know, the faith in God, and get on the right path and stuff. And that been my, you know, I had to help my mom a lot of friends. Just, I mean, I'll give you some stories another time, but because we're getting kind of long on this. But sometimes, man, you guys are just born to be like a leader. The leader can mean a lot of things. So just remember that you might, like, sometimes you feel like a burden, and I used to really believe that, and it used to really put a lot of weight on me, especially when you gotta like help your own parents. It's very scary. You're very young, but you know what, man? It's gonna make you a lot stronger in the future and a lot better person, guys. And you know. So just sorry. But yeah, and this kept me entertained like the whole drive. Isn't that cool? So yeah, or not the whole drive. I got a little bit longer, but I'm gonna get going soon. Just, yeah, man. Just so I guess like the point is just, you know, give love and peace. You know, Logic is one of my, you know, I love that rapper. And he's a really good guy, and I love what he preaches, just peace, love, positivity. And that's, you know, that's so true. Just bring that in the world, man. Just, you should always be positive. Another cool thing, I was telling you I was going through some crazy stuff the last couple days, guys. Like I said, be optimistic. Be optimistic. Be positive. Guess what? I got my situations figured out. Now I got another little income coming in, and now my pictures are going to be done tonight. They're already taken. They're getting edited, and I'm gonna have my business launch soon. And then a couple other little things. Like, out of the gracious of Carla, like, heart, like, out of her heart, we were just talking about some stuff, and I was like, yeah, I got blah, 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 blah. And she, like, straight up offered to help me out. And I was like, I, like, couldn't believe it. I hadn't talked to her. I just barely started talking to her a week ago, and it's been, like, 6 months, you know. We haven't been able to see each other for, like, probably closest to a year-ish, maybe around that. And like, she offers to help me out. Like, dude, that's when you know you just got a great friend. And I love being there for Carla. She's a great girl. So yeah, man, like, but, you know, I had to say, you know, I didn't want her to do that. I couldn't let her do that. She's got a baby, and I'm excited to see her, what she looks like when she's like 5 months along. So but yeah, guys, so yeah, be there for your loved ones. Family doesn't have to just be blood. Just remember that. So yeah, guys, I'll try to upload this today. Love you guys. Whoever watches this, I love you. And I appreciate the support, guys. So yeah, everybody have a great day. Alright.